Good morning, everyone. We just had a Zoom class yesterday and we discussed the problems related to motions of the earth and latitudes and longitudes. I hope there are no more problems left, but in case there are, you can always get back to me through Google Classroom. But for now, we'll start with the fourth chapter, that is Structure of the Earth, in which we are going to study about the interior of the earth. Now, on the first page of your chapter, there's a lot of detail which has been given, which I have shortened it, and I'll be discussing it with you, or rather speaking to you about it. Now, we all know that the earth is made up of three spheres: hydrosphere, atmosphere, and lithosphere. We know that hydrosphere is the water part, atmosphere is the part which is enveloped, the air which is enveloping the earth, and lithosphere is the soil or the rocks which the earth is made up of. So the outer shell of the earth is called the lithosphere, and it is the mineral skin, that is, it is very rich in minerals. And all your landforms, mountains, plains, plateaus, valleys, they are a part of this lithosphere, and we live on this part of the lithosphere where we build our houses, schools, hospitals, cultivate land. This is all your lithosphere. Now, the thing is that we are very curious about it and we want to study the earth. But when you want to study the outside of the earth, we must first know the inside of the earth, that is the interior of the earth as well. And though it is not very possible for us to go very deep inside the earth because the temperature increases by 1 degree Celsius for every 32 meters of depth, that means the interior of the earth is very, very hot. Now, if it is very hot, then how do we get to know about all the details, and what are the ways and means how we can get to know about it? So we have a few ways of getting to know what is happening inside the surface of the earth. Now, the geologists have thought that since the inside of the earth there is a lot of thorium and uranium present, and since these minerals are present inside the surface of the earth, maybe because of them the temperature is rising and the interior of the earth is very, very hot. And the second way which we can find out from what is happening inside the earth is by studying the earthquake waves, or the waves of, or the seismic waves. These waves, as light waves, they reflect, refract, or bend when they are changing one medium to another. So when they are changing their medium, they change their angle, and when they change their angle or they get refracted, we understand which medium they are traveling in, and we get to know that at what depth what medium is present. And therefore we can also find out the density of that material which is present inside the surface of the earth. So we have learned a lot about the surface of the earth by studying the seismic waves, and these waves, they change their behavior when they're traveling from one to another, that is, if they're changing from solid to liquid or liquid to solid. And is the liquid very dense or is the liquid not very dense? That also we get to know by the speed of these waves when they're traveling from the interior towards the outside surface of the earth. So by studying all these seismic waves, we have come to a conclusion that the earth is made up of three layers, that is crust, mantle, and core. You all know about this because you have all studied about it in your junior classes, but just a small revision. The crust is the outermost layer of the lithosphere in which we live, and this is divided into two parts, that is Sial and Sima. Now, SiAl. Si stands for silicate and Al stands for aluminium. And in the case of Sima, Si again stands for silicate and Ma stands for magnesium. So let's study what Sial is first. Sial is the outermost layer of the lithosphere. Its thickness is 25 kilometers and it is covering the continents more and the ocean floors less, and the density of this layer is 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. While on the other hand, the layer of Sima is present under Sial. It is made up of silicate and magnesium. Thickness is 35 kilometers. Density is 3 to 3.4 grams per cubic centimeter, and it is mainly present over the ocean floors. So this is the detail of the crust, which is the outermost layer of the earth's surface, like an onion peel, very thin as compared to the other two layers of mantle and core. Now when you have, if you ever peeled an onion, you know that the outer layer of the onion is very, very thin. This is what crust is like. A very thin layer of the earth is called as the crust. If you add this 25 plus 35 kilometers comes out approximately to 60 kilometers. That is the overall thickness of the crust. Now when the crust finishes and the mantle starts, there's a very thick boundary between the two, and this boundary is called as Mohorovic discontinuity. Now it is not that the crust will finish and the mantle will start immediately. There is a transition zone where slowly and steadily the crust is finishing and the mantle is taking its place. So that boundary is called as the Mohorovic discontinuity. The second layer of the earth is called as the mantle. It is just present below the crust, and the temperature here in the upper part is 850, and as we go deeper inside, the temperature increases to 2208 degrees Celsius. This layer is made up of silicates of magnesium and iron, and the density is approximately 3.4 grams per centimeter cube, and the thickness of this layer is 2800 kilometer. We can also divide the mantle into two layers, the upper mantle and the lower mantle. The upper mantle is called as the asthenosphere, which is semi-liquid in form because the temperature has increased quite a bit. And the lower mantle is called as the mesosphere. Now this is solid because when the pressure increases, it does not allow the rocks to change completely into liquid. So this layer is solid because of very high pressure of the rocks overlying it. Now the boundary between the mantle and the core, that is the innermost layer, is called as the Gutenberg discontinuity, and the third layer is the core, which is the central layer. It is also known as the barysphere, and the radius of this layer is 3500 kilometers. Now why do I say the radius of this layer is 3500 kilometers? Because this is how the earth is. So the outermost layer, the blue part which you can see, is your crust. The brown one, is your mantle, and the orange one is your core. So the blue is the crust, the brown is the mantle, and the orange is the core. So that is why when we talk about the thickness of the core, we say that the thickness of the core is the radius of the core is 3500 kilometers. Now this layer is composed of iron and nickel. Ni for nickel and iron, you know that the symbol for iron from ferrum is Fe. So therefore NiFe, that is what it is composed of. Core is also divided into outer and inner. If you can see it here clearly, this is the outer core and this is the inner core. The outer core will behave like a liquid because the pressure is not as much, but the temperature has risen quite a bit, and therefore it behaves like a liquid. But by the time you reach the inner core, though the temperature is risen, but the pressure has also risen, and therefore the inner core behaves like solid. So the outer one will behave like a liquid and the inner one will behave like a solid. Density of this layer is between 13 to 15 grams per cubic centimeter, and the temperature rises up to approximately 5000 degrees Celsius. So this is the three layers. Now in your book, they have also given some details about the discontinuity as well. Now if you read about the Mohorovic discontinuity, it represents the change in composition between silica crust and the ultramafic mantle. And this is called as Moho also, and it is approximately 5 kilometers thick at the end, at the mid-ocean ridges, and 75 kilometers thick at the continental shelf. Similarly, the Gutenberg discontinuity, which is between the mantle and the core, this was discovered by Benno Gutenberg, who is a German-born seismologist, and the boundary is located at approximately 2900 kilometers of depth between the Earth's surface, and it was discovered by the seismic wave velocity, that means by studying the earthquake waves. Now, this chapter was a very short one, and I have finished this chapter. There is nothing much in this chapter. Just go through the chapter, read it through, and listen to the video, watch the video, and see whether you have any problems with you. If you have problems, you can always get back to me. We do have a Zoom class next Thursday again, and we can discuss the problems on the Zoom, or you can put it down on the Google Classroom itself. So read it, watch it, and let me know if you have any problems.